Hey everyone, it's Mason the Rock Henderson, bringing you yet another review. Um, Hopefully, gonna get it done before the show actually comes on tonight. Um, but if you watched my last review of the first 4 episodes of NCIS season 13, I ended it with saying that this next video is going to be my all-time favorite show. And if you didn't watch that last one, whatever. But here it is, my all-time #1 favorite show. I don't know why I'm building it up so much because it's in the freaking title. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Didn't catch on to the show right away. Actually missed the first season, had to watch it on Netflix, got into it halfway through season 2. And being my favorite show, I really want to do it justice. And so I can't recap the first and second seasons like I've been kind of trying to do. Because there's just so much, and if you haven't watched the first and second seasons, what are you doing on this video? Go watch the first and second seasons. It's really, really good, and the way they tie it all together with the Marvel Cinematic Universe is incredible to me. And I've heard some people that disagree, but whatever, it's my video, say what I want. But anyway, so if you have been caught up, you know that the 4th episode is on tonight, so episodes 1 through 3 reviews. Started off fairly interesting. Kind of what I said with NCIS, how they could have just picked up right where they left off, cliffhanger from season 2. They'd finally gotten rid of Sky, Daisy's mom. They finally stopped her in her evil plan. And everything seemed fine. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Simmons gets swallowed up by the rock. And it was kind of gut-wrenching, like knowing that you weren't going to find out what was going to happen for another year. And so when they pick up season 3, you kind of expect them to pick up with what happened after, like directly after. But they don't. They skip ahead several months. And it's just interesting choice. That could work, could not work. In my opinion, it worked because they could have shown everybody getting upset, but instead they just skipped past that part. But still, you can still see the effect and the toll that it's had on the team. But they pick up with Daisy leading like a little inhuman extraction team with Mac and Hunter, which good to see them in action instead of seeing like the first day out, no idea what they're doing, bumbling over each other. We don't want to see that. So good to see their first, actual extraction of an inhuman guy that melts metal, which is crazy. Good action to start it off too. But they extract him, and Daisy and Mac are trying to calm him down because he's freaking out because of the whole interesting turn to the fish oil pills and all that. Especially how health crazy our society is right now. That would actually happen if our fish oil pills got injected with alien DNA. So interesting. I like the way they're going with this. So that was the majority of Daisy and Mac's story for episode 1. As far as the rest of the team, what's her name? Bobby. She's still recovering from her injury from saving Hunter the last season. So she's stuck to lab work solely, and you can tell she hates it. And I can't blame her. If I kicked as much ass as she did, I would hate to be stuck in the lab. As far as May, don't know what happened to her. She went on vacation, never came back. And that's not explained in the first episode, which, I like that it left it open for the next episodes. And then, of course, you have, I'm blanking on his name. Wow. Coulson. How did I forget Coulson? But you have him, having to deal with this new unit as part of the government now for aliens, and they're kind of creating panic because where S.H.I.E.L.D's been operating in the shadows, this is just they're putting notices out, putting up APBs for alien attack, and it's kind of freaking people out. And so Coulson's trying to step in and do the right thing and handle it so that people don't find out. And him and the main lady whose name I'm blanking on, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. She seems like she's gonna be coming back often. But they kind of have like a little bit of a connection, but at the same time you can tell they're different sides of the coin, which, as it gets closer to Civil War, I'm sure the divide is going to happen more and more. But the first episode was mainly about meeting this government unit and discovering more about them, more about, what happened in the last few months. Fitz kind of, losing his mind again almost, just chasing after every lead of what happened to Simmons, what happened to Simmons, what happened to Simmons, going all over the world trying to figure it out. So I do like that we didn't have to see his emotional breakdown until the end of the episode, which, in my opinion, man, what a performance. Just the sheer raw emotion, especially since this is a show about aliens and humans, to see a real human reaction, because some of the human characters can get a little dull, and Fitz has been one that you felt with, because the rest of the group, obviously he's got, in the first season he's got this incredible, he's incredibly smart, incredibly talented with mechanics, and then all through the second season it's like he became a normal person. He became one of us regular people, because of the brain damage, and you really felt for him. Like, you really couldn't imagine having that special ability and then losing it. And man, just going with him through all that in the first place was crazy. And then to lose Simmons after he finally got his brain power back, and then they finally decide they were going to go on a date, and then he loses her the day after. And I was kind of expecting to see his reaction when they first saw it happen. Instead, we skip ahead, we see him chasing down lead after lead, and then it leads to another dead end, where he finds out that the word describing the rock is death, that he found on the parchment. And just the reaction is just, he grabs a shotgun, shoots off the rock, and just starts beating on the rock, just screaming at it, do something. And you felt it, you really did. You felt all the emotion he poured into that. So that was very interesting. And then that was the end of episode 1. Episode 2 starts off with, they see Fitz, pounding on the rock in the video monitor, and they go in to stop him, and of course, pull him back and close it just in time, which I honestly thought it wasn't going to liquefy it all, and then all of a sudden it does right at the last second. Like, that was close. But Fitz ends up finding like some sediment that was not of Earth, so they know now that she is still alive. She's just been transported somewhere. And of course now they have the sand to prove it, so now they're going to do everything they can to help Fitz. Elsewhere, you have May. Finally get to see her again, just kind of hiding out with her mom. But at the same time, you can tell that something's up because she's acting a little bit paranoid, even when Hunter comes to get her. And he kind of convinces her to help him hunt down Ward, which I cannot wait to see where that storyline goes. Because on the one hand, Ward's been there since season 1, and you can't imagine him dying anytime soon. On the other hand, I don't want to see Hunter die. So that one's got me excited to see when they finally do showdown. So that one didn't last very long. You got Hunter mainly just convincing her, hey, you need to help me find Ward. her trying to deny that she's a part of that life, and yet, why are you so on guard all the time? Then of course you know, going back to the rest of the team helping out Fitz to get Simmons back. Man, that last scene was just so intense. They finally figured out how to get the portal open. They get the guy from Numbers, who's an Asgardian. He was in the first season, I think, as a professor in disguise, and now he was in some jail because he was sick of pretty much living out in the real world. But they finally get him to kind of help out because they know that he will know something about it. And so they get to this place where apparently there's a device set up to open up the portal. And of course, it breaks down the first time. But as always, there's another way to open it, and they figured out that Daisy can open it with her powers. And so they do open it, and it looks like they're going to send a probe in. Of course, Fitz jumps in himself, and so everybody's like, we got to bring him back quickly. And that scene, the growing music, the loud noises, you see Daisy just like bleeding out of her nose because her powers are using up so much of her energy, and it was just building and building and building, and then the rock just kind of destroys, just crumbles into a million pieces, and you're kind of sitting there for a second like, what? Because last thing you saw was just Fitz and Simmons like grabbing hands, and that was it. And you're like, but what happened? And just a few seconds of just silence, and then Fitz pops out of the rubble. You're like, Fitz, he's okay, but it's Simmons. And then she comes up out of the rubble, and you're like, yes! So it really got the adrenaline pumping, the emotions flowing. And man, when a TV show can do that, I love it. I love to get engrossed in the show and just feel every moment of anticipation of what's going to happen next. And the reaction after was a little bit subdued, which I don't know if I like. Like, I feel like some of them would have jumped down in the hole like, Fat Seven, the bag! And I don't know, that made me. Hunter's reaction summed it up the best. Fitz, you beautiful creature! That was amazing. So, episode 2 kind of ends on that note. And you kind of see that, Ward and Hydra are starting to grow, but they're growing their youth, which is kind of scary when you think about it. You got all these young people now, and social networking and all of this stuff, and Hydra can come back so much more powerful, especially with somebody as young as Ward, who understands the youth. So Hydra looks like they're coming back, and I don't even know even if Hunter does kill Ward, I don't think Hydra's just going to fall apart because of that. So, we'll see. I liked just really intense ending that just really drew me in. Episode 3, which leads into this week's episode. Another little bit more build-up. We didn't see any more of the, I forgot to talk about I don't know if he's an Inhuman hunter, I guess. Just really powerful. Daisy, Lincoln, and Mac were all fighting him in the hospital. And he appears and then he's gone. And I like that. I like that they're keeping him a mystery. I know his name is Lash from reading about it. But I'm not a huge comic book person, so I don't know everything about the Marvel Universe. So, I don't really know much about this character, and I'm interested to see if they're going to keep it a little bit more of a mystery and just little clues here and there. Who is this person? Where did they come from? So, interested to see that. But, more interaction between S.H.I.E.L.D. and the ATCU, the government agency. More of Coulson and the woman, kind of a little bit of flirting, a little bit of negotiation. Great chemistry between those two. Really like how they connect, and just Like you can feel the connection. You can feel like they are two peas of a pod. Um, and then, moving on to Daisy and Mac tracking down Lincoln because, I mean, all of this stuff, like I was saying earlier, the government agency is like not being secretive about this at all. They're like putting Lincoln's face on the TV. If you've seen this man, he is wanted for an alien invasion. I'm like, yeah, that's a good way to do it. And Coulson even says you're just gonna start mass panic doing this. Um, and of course they have Lincoln finding a friend that he can hide out with. The friend sees on the news that he's wanted, and Lincoln unfortunately causes his death by, freaking him out to the point of a heart attack. Really kind of a sad moment watching Lincoln just kind of use his lightning powers to try to revive him, and just kind of seeing that all hope was lost. To where when Daisy finally catches up to him, he's like, "I killed a man. Like I'm a monster," and she has to try to do what he did for her in season 2, which is convince him that he's not the monster. And they share, touching moment, which, because of my crush on Daisy, I didn't find all too romantic. Whatever. He's just some good-looking guy who can shoot lightning out of his hands. Psh, I don't care. Um, but the ATCU comes in, and they want Lincoln, and Coulson says that they can have him, and then S.H.I.E.L.D. and the ATCU can work together. But of course, Lincoln's not going to have that. So he uses his powers, gets away. And so instead, they're going to take Daisy because they have a picture of her. And they know that she is also alien. And so instead, Coulson gives himself to the ATCU and decides that he's going to work with them and he's going to share his knowledge and stuff, which I'm with Daisy. You can't trust stinking government agencies. But it will be interesting to see because now they're kind of working together, but at the same time, they do both want the same things, but they have very different ways of going about it. And as much chemistry as Coulson and the ATCU lady have, they have very different ideas of what to do to stop this alien crisis, and so they're definitely going to clash a lot. And then the only other thing is Hunter and... Oh wait, not the only other thing. But Hunter and May are finding a way to infiltrate Hydra. Hunter's going to kind of build his way up the ranks until he gets to meet Ward, and then he's going to kill him. I don't think it'll be that easy, but we'll see. But he has to fight this friend of his that he's known for a long time. And it's pretty much like only one survivor, and whoever wins the fight, they get into Hydra. And of course, he has to fight his friend. We all saw it coming. We get to see a little bit more of May just being a badass because that's who she is. These guys come in, they try to force her to do stuff with them, and what's gonna happen next. She whoops them. Really, really good to see more of May in action because I was missing that. She's so much fun to watch whenever she's just beating up some bad guys. And then finally, probably taking away from the action a bit, which I don't mind. I am a fan of action, so if it has good action, I'm gonna like it. But you do want to see a bit more human stuff. And sure enough, Fitzsimmons is finally back together. You can see Simmons still kind of adjusting to Earth because she's been on another planet for so long. And I like that it's not just instantaneous. She's okay. That is kind of traumatic if you think about being on another planet for a long time, several months. So, you see her adjusting. Fitz reserved their dinner date for that long, which had all the girls going, "Oh." I'm a guy, but I also am a hopeless romantic, so forgive me here just a little. But yeah, that was a very touching moment to see her kind of just break down and just seeing the emotions that she's going through. Because, yeah, Fitz has gone through a lot since she's been gone, but now that she's finally back, it's like she's kind of so gripping to that realization. And, well, that's what you assume. And then at the very end, she just, Bobby comes out and she's like, I gotta go back. And it kind of surprises me, but at the same time, you did wonder, because part of her reaction was definitely, it seemed traumatic, but at the same time, it seemed a little bit off from traumatic. Um, so it wasn't 100% surprise, but at the same time, it's kind of like, wait, what? Like, you just got back. We just did all this work to get you back, and now you want to go back? What are you thinking, woman? And then of course there's the part of me that just, we all want to see Fitzsimmons together again. Which of course, the show has changed so much that thinking back to the very first few episodes, thinking about the team, the dirty half dozen, as they like to call it. We got to see them back together one episode last season, and even then it was all a ploy. And you just, I miss those days. I do. It brings me back a lot of memories. But I mean, this season's going very well so far. They've definitely caught my attention. A lot of mysteries, a lot of, I wonder where the storyline's going to go. And definitely a lot of action. And like I said, can't get enough action. Take that however you want it. Anyway, so yeah, first 3 episodes have been good. Excited to see where they take it, because every season is like, you got the first few episodes that build up the story, and then they get into the story, and that's it. And you're really excited. And there goes my puppy. He hangs out with me a lot. Here he is. Anyway, so those are the first 3 episodes of season 3, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I probably will do kind of a recap review of season 1 and 2. Just so, I can talk about why it is my favorite show. All the twists and turns it's taken. And, I mean, it really is a good show, and probably one of only 2 shows that I'm actually going to talk about. I'm going to actually create my own review for each season, because, I mean, season 1 was awesome, season 2 was awesome, season 3 started out awesome. So yeah, I'm really excited for the episodes tonight. I will bring you NCIS and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews after they happen. So, Leo says bye. See you guys in the next review.